natin papalitan yung mga parameters. Halimbawa, sabi ni Director Navarro, kung ayaw nating umikot doon sa algorithm, palitan natin ang parameters. Halimbawa, when we talk about fake news, pag nakita nating fake news yun, di ba natin dapat tanggalin yung mga parameters na related doon para sa ganun, makabawas-bawas man lang tayo sa paglaganap ng fake news. Paano bang gagawin natin? Kasi tama naman po yung sinasabi ninyo, hindi natin mabalanse ngayon. Paano natin gagawin ng government control, balancing it with free speech? Yun, trabaho ni Yusek Ilagan yun. Nasa government siya, gusto niyang balansin, pero meron namang gusto na ilitaw yung sarili niyang opinion. And kung gagamit po ng algorithm, ito po yung problema ko eh. Can we really control yung algorithm? Kasi kung makokontrol po na yan, ako rin gusto ko pong makontrol ang algorithm. Kasi po yung isang example na gumagamit ng algorithm kung bakit tumataas ang kuryente natin, yung WSM, yung Wholesale Electricity Spot Market. Kung minsan po hindi nila may paliwanag, umaabot sa 17 pesos per kilowatt hour. Hindi po yun ang motibo ng batas eh. Ang motibo ng batas, yung EPIRA, kaya naglagay po tayo ng spot market, is to rationalize demand at saka yung production. Pero ang nangyayari po ngayon, pagka tinawagan mo ang Energy Regulatory Commission, wala po, yan po yung algorithm, sabi niya. They do not even know how, they cannot even answer, sino bang nag-audit ng algorithm na yun? And maybe I would ask you, Madam, ino-audit po ba yung algorithm? Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Ma'am Tagiling.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. In terms of algorithm in social media platforms, the requirement under the Data Privacy Act is that for these controllers of data to comply with the requirements such as to process only the information that is necessary for the purpose and to be transparent to the users or to the data subjects.
So sa madaling salita po, hindi po siya makokontrol.
Under the Data Privacy Act, yes po, wala pong ganong provision.
Sa ngayon, ano lang siya, freewheeling lang siya. Kung ano lang ang gustong ilabas nung algorithm, yun na yun.
Yes po, Mr. Chair.
Sa panukalang batas, Mr. Chair, meron po silang nilahad na mga parameters doon. Can you comment on those? Ito sa panukalang batas po.
Yes, we note that the bill or the Act on Social Media Fairness and Algorithmic Transparency intends to regulate po yung automated decision making doon sa platform. So this is in line with some of the provisions under the Data Privacy Act wherein the platforms or the controllers of this data must comply with yes po, Mr. Chair, must comply with the requirements such as to be transparent and also to process only the data that is necessary. So dapat po hindi excessive yung processing.
Okay, salamat. Comsec, dapat siguro yung Meta nandito eh. Kasi na-imbita ba natin yung Meta?
Yes, Mr. Chair, the committee sent an invitation to Meta and they
Ano sabi
also
ng Meta?
submitted an excuse letter. But,
Nung 19th Congress pa yan, excuse ng excuse ha.
sir,
Oh.
they submitted an excuse letter.
Mag-request na ako ng subpina niyan. Kasi hindi na tayo pinapansin. Thank you, ma'am. Okay lang, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay.
We can,
Ato,
Mr. Chair, we can furnish the members of the committee a copy of their excuse letter also.
yes, ma'am. Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
Attorney Michelle B. Valdez ng NBI. Ito, naku ma'am, kanina parang nalagpasan kita. Maraming tanong po kung bakit hindi ka kaagad ma-take down. Yun din po ang posisyon ba ng NBI?
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, and to Honorable Senator Rodante Marcoleta. Good afternoon, sir, and to everyone present here. Good afternoon po. With regard to the immediate takedown of this fake news article, sir. And unfortunately, sir, we share the same challenges being experienced by our friends from the PNP, sir. We also share the same limitations, sir, as all of our requests from our platform or service providers also just limit to a specific few types of crimes that they immediately act to, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes,
Yun lang po ang gusto namin maliwanagan. May position, ano po kayo, mabasahin yung position paper niya?
Sir, our apologies, but our position paper is still with our legal service.
Pero kayo po ba'y sumusuporta dito sa
We
inabot po ng ating talakayan? Yung tatlong panukala po ba sinusuportahan po ninyo?
Yes, Mr. Chair, the NBI fully supports, sir, the passage of this bill, sir, and that if I may, sir, the NBI believes that a modern anti-disinformation law is necessary to protect the Philippines from coordinated malicious campaigns, deepfake propaganda, foreign interference, and other forms of sophisticated information warfare. Again, sir, we fully support, sir, the passage of these bills. Maraming salamat po.
Okay, meron po mga nakalagay doon na parusa. Okay po ba sa inyo yung mga parusang nilagay namin doon? O kulang ba yon?
Again, sir, it is stated in our position paper, which will be submitted to the honorable committee, sir,
Okay
once signed by our directors.
Sige po, marami pong salamat. Opo.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, ma'am. Sir, isa na po yung posisyon niya po, ano? Opo, salamat po. Sir Abantaw. Sir, salamat po. Ma'am, Miss Gemma Mendoza ng Rappler, ma'am. Meron po kayong position paper?
Well, I have a few
Opo,
points
pakilahad na lang po.
I can raise here. So, earlier, we just reviewed quickly yung mga proposals. We are commending the Senate for coming up with proposals that have evolved. Actually, we saw that it seems to have evolved from previous versions of these measures from measures that were previously suggested in this body. We just have a few suggestions. One here is in relation to government bodies that are going to be given oversight powers. This can be a concern because the way the information ecosystem works, it's very important that there's plurality, and therefore it is very important that there is no legislated official arbiter of truth. So this is something that was communicated also to us by members of our coalition, the Facts First PH coalition. So the policy must explicitly avoid creating or appointing a single government body that will make content substantive decisions. This is to prevent censorship and overreach. Another thing that we are pushing for really, and we hope this will answer some of the concerns that were raised earlier here, it's really important that we push for platform accountability and transparency. And the reason is precisely because of what were raised here earlier. At the end of the day, we're talking of volume here. We're talking of scale. This is something that fact-checking alone, we understand, cannot solve. And it's very important that there is that we look at who is actually benefiting from the disinformation, from the fraudulent content that is going out there, and who is monetizing them. So publishers like Rappler, and there are other publishers here, media organizations, we are accountable for content we publish. And we have faced cases in relation to those. My principal still faces a case with the Supreme Court, which we are responding to. right? But the thing is, platforms are not considered publishers right now. So they're covered by a law in the US, which is not, that does not apply to our jurisdiction technically. In the US, there's Section 230 of the US Communications Decency Act, which treats them technically as utilities. And because of that, they're not seen as publishers. But if platforms are to be held accountable, they need to be considered similar to publishers. And maybe not for specific content, but for things that they amplify. And why is that? Because the act of selecting what content is actually circulated, that's an editorial decision-making process. So in the case of Rappler, in the case of content that we publish, our editors make that decision daily. So that's the reason why we really make sure we are checking what we are publishing before we publish that. And when we make mistakes, we correct that transparently. We publish